The house at number 44 was a gap in the world, a place where life should have been but wasn't. When I moved into number 42, a weathered blue craftsman on Maple Street, I was chasing quiet. The city had chewed me up, its endless noise, the fights with my ex, the way every day felt like a bruise. At 29, I needed a reset, a place to stitch myself back together. Maple Street seemed like a gift. Tidy lawns, old oaks whispering in the breeze, and a stillness that felt like it could hold you. My house had creaky floors, a sagging porch, and windows that rattled in the wind. Imperfections that made it feel alive. But number 44, its faded yellow twin, was different. Its lawn was pristine, its hedges razor-sharp, yet it stood frozen, like a photograph left out in the sun. The shutters hung crooked, but the glass behind them gleamed as if someone polished it daily. I never saw who. I'd always been tuned to absences. My father walked out when I was 9, leaving a hole where his voice used to be. I'd lie awake, listening for his key in the lock, knowing it wouldn't come. Maybe that's why number 44 got under my skin. It wasn't just quiet, it was empty in a way that felt deliberate, like it was waiting for something. I told myself it was just a vacant house, maybe a rental or an investment property sitting unused, but the stillness wasn't peaceful. It was heavy, like the air before a storm. I was too busy to dwell on it at first. My new job as a graphic designer kept me tethered to my laptop, tweaking logos and meeting deadlines. I was trying to rebuild after my breakup, to find a version of myself that didn't feel like a ghost. But number 44 lingered in my peripheral vision. No lights ever warmed its windows, no car parked in its driveway. Once, I noticed a single leaf stuck to a window pane, unmoving despite the wind. I shook it off, blaming my imagination. Then I met Mr. Ellison. It was late September, the air crisp with the promise of fall. I was on my porch, sketching on my tablet, when a voice cut through the quiet. "Fine morning, isn't it?" I looked up to see an older man at the edge of my lawn. He was tall, wiry, with white hair that glowed in the sunlight, and a face carved with deep lines. His plaid shirt was tucked into khakis, and his hands were stuffed in his pockets, as if holding himself in place. His eyes, pale blue, seemed to look past me, fixed on something I couldn't see. "It is," I said, setting my tablet down. "I'm Claire." He nodded toward number 44. "Tom Ellison, your neighbor." I blinked, surprised. I didn't realize anyone lived there. It's so quiet. He smiled, a thin curve that felt rehearsed. "I keep to myself. Less trouble that way."
We talked briefly about the weather, the best diner in town, the way the Oaks were turning early. He was polite, but guarded, his words clipped like he was measuring each one. When he excused himself to tend to some things, he didn't walk to the front door. He rounded the house and vanished behind it. I waited for the sound of a door, a latch, anything. Nothing. Just the wind. Over the next few weeks, I saw Mr. Ellison sporadically. He'd appear in the backyard, raking leaves that seemed to vanish when he was done, or clipping hedges with shears that looked like they belonged in a museum. He was always outside, never inside. No lights glowed in number 44 at night. Once, I noticed his shadow as he worked. It stretched too far, curling up the fence like it had a life of its own. Another time, I saw footprints in the dew on his lawn, leading to the back door, then stopping abruptly, as if he'd dissolved. I checked my security camera later, hoping to catch him. The footage showed the yard empty, the dew undisturbed. I started asking around. Mrs. Carter, the neighborhood gossip across the street, frowned when I mentioned him. "Ellison? No one's lived in number 44 since the Hendersons left in '03. It's been empty ever since. I laughed, thinking she was mistaken. No, Tom Ellison. Older guy, white hair. I've talked to him. Her eyes narrowed. I've lived here 30 years, Claire. That house is vacant. Always has been since, well, it's got a reputation. Buyers walk through and leave, say it feels like the house is watching them.
Her words stuck with me. I searched the county property records online. Number 44 was owned by a real estate company in Ohio, listed as unoccupied for over a decade. No mention of a Tom Ellison. An old listing showed the house, same yellow paint, same crooked shutters, same gleaming windows. Empty. I became obsessed. I'd check number 44's windows at night, searching for light or movement. Nothing. I'd listen for sounds, footsteps, doors, anything. Silence. Yet Mr. Ellison kept appearing. He'd be in the yard trimming roses or standing still, staring at the sky. His presence felt less like a person and more like a memory, something the house itself was conjuring. I tried talking to him again, probing for answers. "How long have you lived here, Mr. Ellison?" I asked one morning, leaning over the fence. He was pruning a bush, his movements slow, almost mechanical. "A while," he said, his eyes fixed on the leaves. "Time's a funny thing. Slips through your fingers." "Do you own the place?" I pressed, my voice steady despite my racing heart. He paused, his shears glinting. "It's home," he said, his voice soft, like a sigh. Then he looked at me, and for a moment his eyes seemed to flicker, like a photo going out of focus.
In November, I found the camera. It was in my attic, tucked in a dusty box of junk left by the previous tenant. An old Polaroid, heavy, with a cracked lens. I set it on my kitchen counter, meaning to sell it online. That night, I woke to a faint click from downstairs. Heart pounding, I crept to the kitchen. The camera sat where I'd left it, but a photo was sliding out, still developing. It showed number 44's backyard. Mr. Ellison standing in the center, head tilted back. The shadows around him were wrong, curling like smoke. In the corner, barely visible, was my reflection, holding the camera. The timestamp read October 12th, 1967. I dropped the photo, my hand shaking. I hadn't taken it. I hadn't even touched the camera. The next day, I checked my phone's gallery, half expecting something impossible. There was a new photo, timestamped 2:13 a.m. that morning, but dated October 12, 1967. It showed the same scene, my reflection, clearer this time, my face pale, eyes wide. I deleted it, but the next night, another photo appeared under my door, identical to the first. I stopped sleeping. Every night, I'd hear that click from the kitchen. Another photo would develop, always the same. Mr. Ellison, the backyard, my reflection. I tried throwing the camera out, but it was back on the counter the next morning, its lens glinting like an eye. I started to wonder if Mr. Ellison was the house itself, or something it had trapped, a memory, a shadow, a piece of me. His words echoed in my mind. Time's a funny thing. Was he stuck in it? Was I?
In December, I dug deeper into the archives. A 1968 newspaper article mentioned Thomas Ellison, a widower who'd lived at number 44. He'd been found dead in the backyard, cause unknown. The photo showed him, white hair, plaid shirt, the man I'd met. He'd been a recluse, retreating after his wife's death. The house was sold soon after, but no one stayed long. I found a forum post from 2005, A realtor claiming number 44's windows were always clean, no matter how long it sat empty. Like someone's still there, they wrote. The photos kept coming. Each one felt like a warning, pulling me closer to number 44. One night, I sat with the latest photo, staring at my reflection. My hands trembled as I traced the image. Why was I there? I tried to rationalize it. Maybe I'd sleepwalked, taken the photo without knowing. But the camera's weight felt wrong, like it was part of the house next door. I remembered Mrs. Carter's words, "The house is watching." I started to think it wasn't Mr. Ellison watching me. It was number 44 itself. In January, I decided to confront it. I waited until midnight, when the street was silent, and walked to number 44's back door. The air felt thick, like I was pushing through water. The door was unlocked, swinging open with a low creak. Inside, the house was pristine. Polished floors, spotless walls, gleaming windows. But it was empty. No furniture, no life. Just silence, heavy and alive. On the kitchen counter sat another Polaroid, identical to the others. But this time, I was standing inside number 44, staring out at the backyard. My reflection held the camera, but my eyes were wrong, blank like Mr. Ellison's. I ran. Back to my house, heart pounding, I packed a bag and called a friend to stay with her. The next day, I broke my lease and moved across town to a noisy apartment complex surrounded by life. Kids shouting, doors slamming, music blaring. I thought I'd escaped. But a week later, I found a new photo in my mailbox. It showed my new building's courtyard, Mr. Ellison standing in the center, head tilted back. My reflection was there, holding the camera. The timestamp was October 12th, 1967. I don't sleep much anymore. Every night I wait for that click. Sometimes I hear a tap on the wall, soft like a finger testing the surface. Last week my phone rang at 2 a.m. The voice on the other end was faint, familiar. "Nice place you've got here, Claire. I'm your new neighbor."